Just wondering what the status is for Shaqiri, Fetty, Navarro, and Jairo Torres.
Well, we're hoping to have all of them available for this weekend. They will train tomorrow and Friday. We'll see how they get along with those two training sessions, and then hopefully we can have them in some capacity this weekend.
Oh, okay, cool. And then just moving on, you guys, after, unbeaten in four, winning the Minnesota match, which I think you might have said was a statement. How important is it to build off of that against Philly, which isn't off to the best start and might rotate their squad a little bit for the Champions League, but still it's Philly. So how important is it to continue that momentum against one of the better MLS sides?
Well, it's a couple of things. First, it's the only team that has beaten us this year, so we have that in the back of our minds. We felt, barring that 45-minute a man down, maybe we come out of there at their place with a point, which would have been a good showing. So we want to basically take those 3 points back that they got from us at their place. So that's one thing. And the second thing, we want to show progress. And what we've told the players is, guys, playing well for one game, a couple games is one thing, but can you continuously do that? Can you have some consistency with your progress that you've been making? And we are at home, and we just need to pick up full points. So we want to, I wouldn't say as goes far as saying revenge, but we do want to, get those 3 points that we felt like we lost there at their place. We want to get the 3 points also because it's a home game, and then also we want to continue to build on what we've been able to do over the past 4 weeks or since we've played them, since we lost that game to them. So it's a continually building and trying to make progress with our own team, with our own organization to get to where we're trying to get to.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Joe Chats on Tap Sportsnet.
Hi, Ezra. Hi, Eve. Thank you both. Appreciate the time. Thank you, Brian, for making the Caddyshack joke for me. I was wondering, we've got Johnny Dean coming on with us next, and his career a bit unique for MLS, coming through drafted, cut, coming through USL. I'm wondering, Ezra, what makes it so he has been able to thrive in the roles you've put him in thus far?
I think it's all him. It's his personality and his abilities. Johnny is a player that, and it gives a lot of credit to our scouting department and the people who go out and look, and even in the lower leagues, to find talent, to find players that we feel that can help the organization. He has come in with the personality of I belong in this league, and I'm gonna show every day that I belong in this league. And we have a policy here: if you train well and you play well and you get your opportunity, you'll get more opportunities. So he's been able to do that. We're very happy for him. He's a big part of this team, even though he's just his first year in the league. We saw it in preseason, and we're really happy with the way he's come in and really played well when asked and when called upon in games, even as a starter at left back, or coming in playing some right back, some right wing. He's been able to fit in, and his versatility helps him a lot. So good personality, good attitude, good player. Very versatile. He's going to get a lot of opportunities if he continues this way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Miguel AJ from ChicagoFireFC.com.
Hi, Ezra. Thanks for making time. Since the last matchup between Philadelphia, how has the Fire grown and improved as a team since the first game against the Union?
Well, I think we showed some growth even in preseason, in the NYCFC game, a little bit in that Philly game, being able to go into a place that's so hard to play, so hard to get a result, lasting up until 89th minute before we broke. But I think since then, and maybe that game brought the players to a realization that, listen, if you can go to a team like Philly, one of the top teams in the league, and give that kind of performance, this is something you can do week in and week out. And I think we've shown since then, the Cincy game played really well, but, let those last 2 goals in the last, 5-6 minutes of the game kind of we took a step back, sort of, but we went out the very next week in Miami, got up, they came back, and we were able to finish that game late in that game and won that game on the road. So I think that also encouraged some belief, and I think from that Philly game, because we performed so well, the players, the confidence rose, and they've carried that with them. And we didn't get full points against DC at home, or Cincy, but we felt like even when we don't get full points, let's make sure we get something out of all the games, and we've been able to do that. So that's been good for us, and that's why we're in the position that we're in right now.
And since you've seen that growth since this game against Philadelphia, what are you expecting from your team as they play against them on Saturday?
Well, we're at home, so I expect them to come out very confident. I expect them to use that framework from the game that we played in Philly, and just have that attitude and confidence about them as we start the game. Yes, they're a very good team. I know they're maybe not doing so well in league play right now, but I think that's a result of shuffling their lineup, trying to give a push for the Champions League. But they're a very good team, so it doesn't matter who they put on the pitch on Saturday. We have to be ready, but we have to go out with that same kind of confidence that we've been playing with all year. And I think that will bode well for us. And at the end of the day, we're at home, and we need full 3 points, and that's going to be the message to the players.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Hernan Espinosa from La Fiera Deportiva.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Good afternoon. Probably you find out yesterday that the Fire will face Chicago House in the U.S. Open Cup. I know it's too early to talk about it, but want to know what's the reaction in the locker room and your coach staff about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talk about it amongst the coaches. CJ Brown actually went up and scouted the game, and so he has a scouting report. But we're very familiar with the house. There's a local team. We've seen them play against our second team before, so we have a pretty good idea of what they're all about. But CJ has a full scouting report about what the things that they do, and so at the appropriate time we will start focusing on that game and that team. But for now, we have 2 big MLS games coming up, and we're not even looking towards Atlanta. So definitely not looking towards the house right now. It's all about Philly for right now, and the conversation has been, beyond recognizing or realizing who will play for the Open Cup. The conversation has been about Philly and solely Philly.
Thank you. Next, we'll go back to Brian Sandalo.
Sure. Thanks again, Ezra, and thanks, E. Just wondering, it's become clear in the last 4 weeks, especially, that this team does have depth and does have a lot of options all around the pitch. How does that change things for you as a coach? How much of a challenge is that to try to work deserving players in when that might be in place of other deserving players?
Well, Brian, it's a welcome problem. It's something that we felt that we were lacking a bit last year due to injuries or due to some players just not being ready yet for the MLS game. And that's something we wanted to adjust in the offseason and address as far as making sure minimum 2 deep at each position. We're close to there. We're still not finished. We're still not quite where we want to be, but it's a great problem to have. I want, and I tell the players every week, guys, I want you guys to make my decision come Friday or whenever we decide to start a lineup to be difficult. I don't want it to be easy. I don't want it to be, sometimes last year you knew by Tuesday who was going to play on the weekend because the competition just wasn't there. The drop off from the starters to the non-starters was just the gap was too wide. And it cost us sometimes in late in games because we just didn't have answers for, let's say, a Charlotte bringing in a Reina late in the game, So we addressed that. We have that now. Some injuries have kept us from really being at full tilt. But I think with Shaq, Navarro, and Torres and these guys coming back, it's going to be even more stronger of a team. And it's going to make my job a little harder as far as player selection. But it's something that I welcome, something that me and the staff, we're happy to have, because that can help us from game to game.